It's definitely 2 points dropped for Tottenham as they went to Goodison and threw away what would have been a great 3 points on the road right at the death for Everton to claw back to get a 2 each draw. Ange Postecoglou and Tottenham would have definitely been looking at this game as a very important 3 points to keep pace with Aston Villa and the rest of the top 4, the top 5, the would-be title challengers, as it were. And although Tottenham don't leave this game with maximum points, this is definitely a game that I think they looked very good in, and we're starting to see more green shoots of how the Ange Ball, the Ange Postecoglou picture is starting to take shape at Tottenham. We'll be looking at that in the video today, as well as 2 players we'll be kind of spotlighting that I've been kind of talking about a lot on Tottenham, and you guys have been talking a lot about in the comment section. I do catch up with them and I do interact. So on the comment section of this video today, let me know what you think about what we're chatting about in the video today. At any point, if you do like this kind of stuff, please do subscribe for more. And yeah, let's just get stuck straight into it. Now, there might have been a few surprises in this starting 11 for some people. Maybe the fact that Brennan Johnson started over Kulusevski. Maybe the fact that Sarr didn't start from the beginning, or maybe even skip. I think Højbjerg and Bentancur definitely surprised a lot of people. And in this game, I'm putting a lot of focus for myself on Richarlison, on Timo Werner, and on Bentancur especially, because these are the players that we're normally talking about in the videos, and we're having some discussion points around. First of all, with Bentancur, I'm putting him under the microscope, and I'm watching him at every kick and every turn of the ball, because you guys are telling me that he is going to be, and he is, a key part of this squad, one of the best players in the team, and a huge part of what will become any success that this Tottenham Hotspur squad has. And I do think in this match, Bentancur was very good for the 60-65 minutes he played. He was all over the pitch, kind of influencing the game in transition into attack, getting Tottenham out of defence and moving the ball into midfield. And he was really ever present, very good in tight spaces, and can read the game very well to play balls forward for the likes of Porro and Johnson when he was on this side of the pitch. Maybe if he's a bit more central, he's playing it to Maddison and these types of guys as well. But I do think that Bentancur definitely showed, a lot of what I kind of thought he brings to the table for Tottenham. A good facilitator, a good water carrier, very good in tight spaces, technically very gifted, makes good decisions. But as you can see, he has covered a lot of ground in this game. There's no two ways about it. But he hasn't really penetrated the box. He hasn't really contributed to this game in transition all the way into the box. And a common thing that we've seen for Tottenham in this game when they were in attack and when they were in possession is Højbjerg was, basically a firefighter back here for whenever Udogie or Porro were caught out of position, which is fine. And Bentancur wasn't too far off of whatever Højbjerg would be kind of finding himself in relation to the ball, which is all well and good, okay? But what that then forces for Ange Ball for the Tottenham team is that Pedro Porro and Udogie in the inverted full-back position have a lot more prominence in the game and have a lot more importance for Tottenham to actually unlock the door and go and create goal-scoring opportunities. Now, Tottenham's main problem this season has been scoring more than 2 goals a game. I do feel the left-hand side here with Udogie, Werner, Maddison worked brilliantly. All the good stuff for Tottenham really did come down this side of the pitch for Richarlison's 2 goals. And I really do think that the bond, the give and go, the interplay between these 3 was a very distinct part of the game. And I don't think that'll be getting broken up anytime soon. Udogie and Werner seem to have a good kind of telepathy with one another. Maddison and Werner could have exchanged a few more passes between one another that might have resulted in the 3rd goal coming. Werner did miss a huge one-on-one, could have maybe won a penalty as well if he maybe positioned his body slightly differently. But I do feel that the left-hand side worked very, very well because Maddison can get into the box and can penetrate. And we're not really getting that on the right-hand side. If we are, it's Pedro Porro that's doing that alongside the likes of Brennan Johnson, which is fine. But we then, if we look at this, are putting so much pressure on Van de Ven and Romero. They're normally a bit higher up the pitch, of course, for that recovery pace, that recovery speed, which they're great at. But again, when they've been put under extenuating amounts of pressure to do this, like the Chelsea game and, whatever earlier the season is when they broke down. So seeing this does feel somewhat suboptimal. Now, Højbjerg continues to be halfway decent for being somewhat a bit of a hatchet and a bit immobile, but again, very technical, an elite professional, as it were, if not terribly gifted or eloquent on the ball, as it were. So I do feel that Tottenham did open themselves up here for maybe some open play danger from Everton. But the main thing that resulted in was the set pieces that would come as a result of not being able to defend these with the likes of Porro coming into these wide areas or Udogie, because they are much higher up the pitch in this game, because Bentancur, Neuer, Højbjerg are going to get into the box, are going to get, and I know Bentancur's around these areas quite a lot, don't get me wrong, but they're not going to get into the box, they're not going to get into the nosebleed zone. They have to do it, and then in recovery, You've not got as many of the legs in your team as that you would have liked. So impressed by Bentancur. I'm not saying he's a bad player or anything like that, but I maintain what I've said to you, Tottenham fans that come to the channel and enjoy the content here is, next time you buy a midfielder, it's probably not going to be a guy that replaces Maddison. It's probably not going to be a guy that will take Bissouma's position. So it's probably going to be a guy that comes into here. And, you know, if you're going to buy in a guy that plays this position, they're going to get into the box a bit more. They're going to do everything that Bentancur's doing. Maybe they won't do everything as good, but they'll be that type of player where they can do all the stuff that Bentancur does, but they'll probably be able to get into the box themselves. And we'll come on to that in a little minute. The second player I really put under the microscope in this game and I was paying a lot of attention to was Richarlison, because now that I feel that Werner really owns, let's see what happens when Son comes back, but I really do feel that this left-hand side here is probably rather nailed on at this point. When Son comes back, Kulusevski's on the bench in this game. I'm now trying to figure out, is Richarlison cut out for this? Tottenham were linked to Solanke. They were linked to another striker as well in the window. I forget who. And Veliz has obviously been out on loan. So there's definitely a lot of energy and a lot of energy, a lot of brain power been spent on the forward areas at Tottenham. And Richarlison, honestly, I know it's dead easy to say when the proof's in the pudding, but he was phenomenal in this game. And what he did in this game, he was going in really deep positions and influencing the game. Now, I know Tottenham had set pieces to defend, and a lot of the team got deep as a result of the set pieces that were needing to be defended. But Richarlison did a fantastic job of being in these tight areas here, deeper in the pitch, winning the ball, been involved in the build-up play, a little bit of give and go, and he would be back up there. He would get back up there to be the arrowhead. He maybe can't always keep up with the likes of Werner and Johnson, who I do feel give a great kind of incision in terms of the counter-attack that they offer in here. But he is keeping up with them enough to get into these zones here. And I know it's Maddison that gives him the assist from this zone here, but Richarlison's coming up here to be the finisher, to be the final touch, to be the one-touch finish. And that was a big thing that happened with Giakoumakis at Celtic, is he was famed. He had, like, I don't know, say 17 goals and like 15 of them were one-touch finishes. And this was what we've seen from Richarlison today. He's getting into the final zone, and the rest of the creators, the rest of the guys that are breaking into space know the finishing touch is in Richarlison's boot. And he's not just coming back here doing a bit of the dirty work, but he's getting up at the top end of the pitch and putting the ball in the back of the net. And I thought, wow, he looked like a complete striker in this game. And honestly, because one thing that you really do see in a lot of the players and the teams that Ange kind of develops is that the guys are fighters. They're, you know, not scared of getting their hands dirty, and they're not scared of adversity. And this was back in September. Richarlison's came through so much this year, and to see the form he's in at the moment and the performance that he put in this Everton match, it's going to be really hard for Tottenham to pick their best front three when everyone is fit and available. Because in this game, one of the rarities of this season was the fact that Tottenham have had some decent options to call upon from the bench. I think when Kulusevski and Sarr came on is when Tottenham actually looked a lot better for me in open play, and unfortunately they didn't really got enough chances created as a result at that point of the game. It is a bit more back and forth. Everton are really trying to get into it. But Sarr's added legs in this midfield area definitely helped Tottenham throughout the latter stages of the game. And Kulusevski, although he didn't really manage to influence the game much, that inside playmaker was really missing in this game, you know, in terms of the player that will come from deep. And Sarr has done some of the stuff that I'm talking about that Bentancur hasn't done. If you remember early on this season, Sarr's getting in the box, he's getting goals, he's setting people up for tap-ins. And Kulusevski, I do feel that there was a bit of a difference in the play on the right-hand side when these guys come into the picture. So the way I kind of see it now, Bissouma's obviously still away at AFCON or whatever, so once you get Bissouma back for Højbjerg, it's quite easy to see he'll come into this position. And yeah, the way the squad sits now, it's hard to argue against this maybe not being the best 11, which adds a huge problem for Ange, a huge question mark for Tottenham fans, is when Son comes back into the picture, does he boot off Richarlison or does he boot off Werner? Because I do think that what you get from Werner is a very good facilitator. He gets 2 pre-assists, he gets the pass before the assist for the 2 goals today. Missed a huge one-on-one. It could have perhaps won the match. Maybe if you've got Son in that position, he takes that chance. He wins you the game 3-2. I don't know. But I do feel that, maybe if Son's a bit more central, maybe he'd have got a hat-trick. I don't know. It's a real big ask there. But this is what Tottenham want, is problems, options, quality of choice throughout the squad. And now that Ange is starting to get that in attack and possibly in midfield, alongside a really settled back 4 who seem to be fit and firing, this is 2 points dropped in the Everton game. But with the upcoming fixture list that they've got now, with no FA Cup to worry about, I think they're going to go from strength to strength over the next couple of weeks. And this is definitely a performance that will be remembered, for me anyway, for Richarlison. more than most is, really won the point for them. I know it is 2 points dropped, but if that point does become valuable, Richarlison has played a huge part in this, and he's really changed my opinion on him for the rest of this season anyway. I'll be really interested to catch what you guys think in the comment section of the video. On screen and now some other stuff that I've made that YouTube thinks you might enjoy. I hope you enjoyed this one. Don't forget to like and subscribe, share and retweet. I'll catch you on the next one.